Hey guys, it's Drake, and I'm here to talk about a recent controversy regarding Captain Britain in the Marvel Comics. And this is going to be unscripted, so I'm sorry that it's not like my normal content. I just really wanted to rant about this and get it off my chest, because frankly, when is the next time that Captain Britain is going to be relevant again? Okay, so the controversy is that apparently this Muslim woman has taken over the mantle of Captain Britain, and this is a terrible thing. SJW Marvel is back at it again. They're ruining these classic characters and replacing them. How dare they? This is yet another instance of a lot of people complaining about comics clearly not actually reading comics, and they don't know what they're talking about. In fact, that panel that's been going around, that isn't a recent comic. That's 4 years old. We'll get into that in a bit. But also, that character has been around since 2008. Not that particular iteration of the character, because that one is an alternate universe. Yes, the Captain Britain of the mainstream Marvel 616 universe has not been replaced at all. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's appeared in a recent Marvel comic as like this month. So who is this? Why are people getting upset? Frankly, I think they're getting upset because it's a Muslim woman that is in the role of a character that has traditionally been a white dude. However, this panel comes from a book called Captain Britain and the Mighty Defenders. This is one of the bajillion tie-ins to an event called Secret Wars that happened in 2015. Secret Wars was this event where every single universe in the Marvel multiverse collided with each other, getting destroyed, and instead all there was this patchwork planet called Battle World. But because of that, we had a bunch of different characters throughout the multiverse appearing in all of these different tie-ins. Now, is the Captain Britain and Mighty Defenders 2-issue series political? It absolutely is. It's about two neighboring cities, one that's governed by peace, and the other one is this Judge Dredd style dystopian nightmare where the Punisher style of justice is law. The book is okay, but on the bright side, I do now have a new favorite comic panel, and I love that. So this character, Fozzie, while she did appear in the mainstream Marvel 616 universe in 2008 in the Captain Britain and MI13 book, she has never been Captain Britain, and she's never going to be, most likely. She has kind of nothing to do with that character. And this alternate universe character that appeared in the Secret Wars tie-in, she did not appear in a comic beforehand, and she is not going to appear ever since. Okay, so with all of that out of my breath, let's talk about this a little bit more. So Fozzie in the mainstream Marvel 616 universe is a character called Excalibur. She is the wielder of the magical sword, and she is a part of Britain's super team. However, the multiverse is actually a big deal for the Captain Britain lore. He is a member of the Captain Britain Corps, who are a bunch of different Captain Britons or various equivalents all throughout the multiverse, and it is their job to actually protect the multiverse. I would argue that the multiverse is more important to the Captain Britain mythos than to the Spider-Man mythos, and there is an entire Spider-Verse out there. So it's interesting because this is the equivalent of getting mad about an alternate universe Spider-Man, and I think people are pretty much willing to accept that that's fine. It's clear that if you read a lot of the comments about this outrage, people didn't realize this was an alternate universe of the character, and they thought that Fozzie was actually replacing Brian Braddock as Captain Britain. It's yet another example of a lot of people who are complaining about comics not actually reading them and making it very clear that they don't know what they're talking about. Now, I'm sure a lot of people just assumed this was piggybacking off of the recent trend of diverse characters in Marvel Comics. Your mileage might vary if you think that they're replacements or supplements, but whatever. It is very clear that this is not a part of that trend. It's not a Miles Morales, Amadeus Cho, Riri Williams thing. But funnily enough, in the video that I did about Riri Williams and Miles Morales, there were a bunch of comments about how it's fine for Miles Morales to exist because he was an alternate universe character. And as long as you're not replacing my main boy in the main universe, that's totally okay. This is literally the same thing. She's not a replacement, she's alternate universe, and people are still getting upset. So why are you going to give a pass to Miles, but not to Fozzie? Makes you kind of wonder. It also seems like it's a bit of the modern equivalent to that infamous time that people were making fun of this cosplayer, saying that she was cosplaying as a gender-bent steampunk Joker with a Willy Wonka hat, and that it's making trying too hard an art form, when in fact, that is a character called Duela Dent, and the internet was very happy to tell them that they didn't know what they were complaining about. It's a bunch of, again, non-comic book readers complaining about things that they literally know nothing about. This entire outrage is really dumb, and I don't understand why it got to this point in the first place when it is very easily debunked. But then again, it does seem like 5 minutes of Googling is a little bit too hard for a lot of people on the anti-SJW Comicsgate side. Who'd have thought? Now, I will actually throw that side a little bit of a bone because I've read a lot of Captain Britain books, and get this, Brian Braddock's younger sister, Betsy Braddock, who you might better know as Psylocke, did actually take up the mantle of Captain Britain before in the mainstream Marvel 616 universe. There was a female Captain Britain decades ago. Feel free to rage about that. It was a straight up replacement. Brian was no longer in the role anymore. Go nuts. But then again, it's very much in line with a lot of these people to ignore a lot of the replacement and diversity that happened decades ago because they want to think that Marvel being more socially conscious is a more recent development and that it's clearly a conspiracy of the SJWs and feminists trying to ruin comics. I don't know. I really do recommend reading the Captain Britain books and a lot more of the British characters. So if you get a chance, go ahead and read that. So that's all I have to say. I figured this was going to be a lot more rant-like because this honestly didn't deserve a full deep dive, heavily edited video since this controversy, again, could have been settled with a little bit of Googling and with a little bit of actually reading the comics. I will say though, this video is dedicated to this one dude who was very angry at me on Twitter who said that I didn't do my research. I think it's pretty clear that I did. I'd recommend that you do the same. So that's the end. Goodbye, everybody. Sorry this was so angry. Regular content is still going to be coming out as scheduled. Watch some more of my stuff. Probably if you want to stay on the subject of Captain Britain, then go ahead and watch the video that I did about Psylocke and how she went from this white girl to this Asian assassin woman. It's very, very weird how that happened because comics. But anyway, I hope you learned at least a little something new, and hopefully I'll see you next time.